Hello, folks. Welcome to another Archeryshack Shop Talk podcast. I'm Jeremy.
I'm TJ.
We're on number 37.
I think so.
Good God almighty. Thank you for watching. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for watching our live feeds. We had some stickers that we have sent out from our live feed, and we're looking at doing some T-shirts coming up and hats and all kind of different stuff with the Archeryshack logo on it. So stay tuned. If you hadn't watched the live feed yet, it's on Thursday night on YouTube only at 6:30. And also, if you need a set of bowstrings, check out archeryshackstrings.com. We make custom strings, pre-stretch them, any color, any combination of colors, serving colors, whatever you want. Get on there, check them out. You can use the code. What is our code? I didn't forget.
Podcast 15.
Podcast 15. It'll get you 15% off of our website there, and we'll be happy to help you however we can. Thank you to those that have already ordered. I've seen the code come through a few times, and we much appreciate it.
Yep.
We're here to talk about archery and bow hunting and shooting turkeys in the head and whatever else we can come up with. But it's been a weird turkey season. I guess the turkeys maybe have got the coronavirus.
I don't have a clue. I ain't been.
I hadn't talked to a turkey. But it's a different type of turkey season because of this mess. But we're hanging in there. We're hanging in there. Had a lot of foot traffic in the shop today. Bows being worked on, a few things sold, lots of bowstring orders. So very cool stuff. Hopefully we're getting out of the woods on this virus stuff. What do y'all think about our fancy purple light we got on our backdrop? I was excited all day to turn this thing on, and it works off of some kind of remote. So I don't know if y'all are excited as I am, but on the screen over there, it looks pretty neat.
Yep.
Like we're at a Prince concert. So who has shot? I don't know how the turkey seasons vary across the country, but most of them are probably happening now, I would think. Is anybody watching Slay the Thunder Chicken? If you have, give us a. You can't post a picture in YouTube comments, can you? I don't think.
I have no idea.
Anyway, if you have, just let us know about it down in the comment section on YouTube. I'd be curious to know. I only know I hadn't been because of just 100 things going on with all this stuff, but I only know of a few people that shot one, so it's definitely got everybody in a different state of mind.
Yeah.
But speaking of posting pictures and stuff, there's a group on Facebook, and it is called Friends of the Archeryshack. And I have been I've had that group for a couple of years now, and I mean, there's some people in it, but I rarely post in there because I don't think about it. But I'm going to get me and TJ in there, and we're going to try to, if you get in there, we're going to try to do a little more interacting and picture posting. If you got, if you've shot a turkey or anything you want to put in there, go for it. It's called Friends of the Archeryshack. We'll do better to get on there and interact with people because I've had a few people say, how can we, interact on social media? And like I say, I don't think you can do a whole lot on YouTube. So jump on Facebook and we'll do some stuff there. And we may even try to double live stream some stuff. Not super soon, but at some point put it in that group and on YouTube at the same time and see how it works. But
yeah.
Anyway, check that group out. We'll do better to kind of get in there and post stuff. And
to be honest with you, I kind of forgot about it. I mean, we just been so busy that
when Facebook groups first came out, big time, which was about 5-6 years ago now. It sent me a thing and it was like, we suggest that you start because I had the Archeryshack business page. It was like, you should start Friends of the Archeryshack and link it to the business page. And I was like, okay, that sounds great. And I originally started it to be more of a conversation thing. The business page is just like, all right, we got this bow in, or we got that, or we got this. And I thought this would be more of I can talk to people and that type of thing. And it kind of worked. And I just never think about it.
I don't
But
either.
now that we got y'all watching from all over the place, instead of just a small local crowd, that we deal with all the time, it'd be a good place for people to post pictures and questions and whatever. So,
yep.
Friends of the Archeryshack, and it's got that same it's the same green looking logo thing as it is on YouTube. It should be easy to find, and I don't think there's a bunch of people in there, maybe like 100 or something. So
yeah,
check it out. If you got whatever you want to post, go for it. Just don't get naked or nothing. We'll have to moderate it.
Yeah. You know, on our live feed Thursday night, we got to talking about some errors and everything, and Zach Holmes, he was on there, and actually had an email from him about aluminum errors, which we hardly talk about anymore.
Aluminium.
So, you know, he's asking, what are our thoughts on aluminum errors? He's been shooting them for 20 years. He said he's got a bunch of his buddies telling him, you know, he needs to switch over to carbon, and he said that, you know, he says that it is, let's see, proofread this a little bit. They're inexpensive, very straight, and they shoot well for him. He said, so what's the advantages of switching? And I think he left another comment that I seen and said, try to change his mind. I don't think he needs to change his mind at all.
No.
I mean, aluminums have worked for a long time, and
I mean, the only downfall to aluminum is you can warp them. You know what I mean? That's it. That's pretty much it. That I can, and they're, you know, in general probably a little heavier, but that's not a bad thing. So, aluminum away.
Yeah, I don't. Unless you just want to switch to carbon, they're.
Yeah. Let's talk about. I've seen some contankering on this on online. People talking about how tight you should put on the D loop, and not to go down a big rabbit trail, but I've said it in some of my videos before. You know, if you really get those Viper loop pliers or whatever, and you hammer that thing down as tight as you can get it, it is going to dig into the servant.
Yep.
No matter, I don't care what machine or whatever puts it on there. And I'm talking about like really bearing down, not just snugging it up. I mean, like if you hammer them things in there, it's going into the servant. And then the problem that arises is if your peep is not, well, two problems. If your peep is not perfectly aligned, you know, sometimes you got to maybe grab that loop and twist it a 16th of a turn to make that peep perfect. You can't really do that. And it's going to wear that loop directly into the string material. And if you ever got to change that loop out, your center serving shot, you got to completely reserve it and all that. That's why I tie those little interlocking points. You watch those videos, put the loop on, and I take needle nose and get it tight, but I could still, it's not dug in tight. Somebody was asking about that one time, and I don't think I brought it up, but that's pretty much my thinking on that. You want it snug, but you don't want it dug into the serving snug, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And, I mean, there's a 97% of people put a loop on and never change it until they change their string, and you wouldn't really, you'd be fine. But if for some reason your loop got worn or you changed rest or whatever and you need to change that loop out and it's dug in, you're going to be reserving that center serving. Yeah. And, I mean, different materials are better than others, you know, but anyway, I just thought I'd bring that up because somebody was talking about it. We got some crossbows in. We've got several bear models that came in, and honestly, for the money, what is it, the Intense?
Yeah, the Intense.
I think it's like 10 inches cocked axle to axle. I don't know the rest of the specs on it without.
It's 14 inches uncocked, 10 inches cocked.
It's pretty speedy.
But 400 feet per second.
It retails for what, $400?
Yeah, it comes with the Bear X scope on it, which has it's got the illuminated reticle in it, so you can change it to red or green for those early morning or late evenings. If you need a little extra light or something, you reach over there and flip it. It's got, I think, up to 6 brightness settings on each one, green and red, and comes with 3 bolts. Now, I didn't put the batteries in none of them because, you know, in case a customer come in and got tinkering with it and left it on, killed the battery. So
it happens all the time.
Yeah, so, but other than that, for $400, that ain't a bad.
But yeah, they've come along. I mean, used to a $400 crossbow was a piece. This is pretty fancy.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty fancy. Another thing I want to talk about, where did Scott get that lens from that was $40? Optics.
Optics 300, I think it was.
I think it was optics300.com, or maybe it was Optics 300 on Facebook. But anyway, he needed a lens for his scope. And they were on there. I'd seen them. I said, look this place up. I heard about them. So he ordered one. And for $40, I mean, it may not be a Feather Vision, but it don't look bad. You know what I mean?
No, it didn't.
I don't, you know, I hate to tell you to go there and they pee a piece of junk, but from the one that we've had in the shop for $40, it's a hell of a deal.
Yeah.
And they got different sizes and all that, but I think you can get 2, 4, 6, 8 power and then all kind of different diameters. But
yeah,
I meant to bring that up on the live feed. I was pretty impressed with that for $40. I mean,
yeah,
you look.
It come in a nice little tin that had a screw cap on it, and
you're looking at least double that normally.
Yeah,
if not triple.
But
I was impressed. If I needed one for my hunting bow or something like that, I'd definitely try them out.
Oh yeah,
We might, if we continue to play with them or whatever, we'll let you know if anything changes. But so far, so good.
I know, we kind of get talking about, questions we get in the shop and everything, but this is one we're starting to get a lot more, and we've kind of touched on this on other podcasts, but Joe wants to know, are there any pros or cons for a limb-driven versus a cable-driven rest for deer hunt or for hunting in general?
I would say the only con to a limb-driven would be you got that big old...
You got the
cord that you... But I say this, but at the same time, if you're going to hit that cord with a broadhead or something, you're going to hit your strings and cables. You know what I mean? It's not like it's... But, if the cord stretches, you can tighten it up on the spot. And then a cable-driven, we talked about this last week, if the string stretches a little bit, it can throw your rest timing off and then throw your arrows off and all that. A limb-driven, even if that cord falls off, which is not, it's going to be locked in the up position. You could technically still shoot it that way.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Other than out of all that talk from last week, I guess the biggest thing would be the cable-driven. If the cord stretches and it comes up too late, you can start having arrow trouble. And every now and then somebody will come in. I've set this up 2 years ago. All of a sudden, my fletching are hitting. And the first thing I'll do if I go back here to the paper tuner is I'll pull that cord through like 1/8 of an inch, and 90% of the time, we got a bullet hole again. It's just that cord stretching. But,
I mean, touch on the con. On the limb-driven, you do have that longer cord on there. So if you are walking through some thick stuff or you're spotting stalk, I can see it getting caught. But I could also see it depending on how you run it, because most of them you can run top or bottom now.
Yeah.
If you run the top, you may have a little bit of issues with your quiver, or depending on what sight you run, something like that, just kind of being in the way. Because I know with some of the quivers, they fit so flush against the bow now almost that, I could see it kind of being in the way a little bit. But I think mine, on my hunting bow, I think mine's run off the bottom. But I have a pretty clear path to where my deer stand is.
Yeah.
And I really don't have to worry about it. But I could probably see, if I had to walk through some thick stuff, or I could see it maybe snagging, but I don't see it popping off.
Yeah.
So, that's a personal preference, but I made the switch over to limb-driven last year, I think it was, or 2 years ago, and I ain't looked back from the cable-driven stuff.
I don't know. I think it's simpler. It's easy. You could work on it in the field a lot easier without a bow press. But here's something I was thinking about the other night, and I thought I'd bring it up. How much do you think bow and archery sales in general are swayed by these celebrity bow hunter people? And by celebrity, I mean like, Levi Morgan, Joe Rogan, Cameron Haynes, John Dudley, whoever.
Bone Collector Boys, Michael Waddell, Nick Munt, Travis T-Bone Turner, Kip Campbell on Red Air. I'm trying to think of some of the hunting shows.
You're very swayed by them because I don't know none of those people. But
everybody knows Bone Collector Boys.
I didn't think it was that much until Levi left Elite, and it seemed like Elite just kind of fell off the map for a little bit there. So,
but are we talking tournament shooter versus
both really? I don't know. There's no, without looking at some major company like Hoyt or somebody, or PSE I'd love to see PSE's numbers after the Dudley bow was released. You know what I mean? I'd love to just know. I know it's been a very popular bow, but I'd love to see that.
Yeah.
And I'd love to see Hoyt after he left,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And used to, I was always like, oh, those people, nobody gives a shit. But I think they do a lot more than I thought they did.
Well, I know me and you had that discussion because, when Levi was with Elite, first ASA I ever went to, I mean, that's all we seen was blue and white jerseys.
Yeah, everywhere.
And then, we it was rumored then. So when he was going back to Matthews, it was all rumored. There wasn't no truth behind it at that point. And I remember me and you having that discussion, and I said, well, I think they might kind of slide a little bit. And just because,
my thinking was he sort of put them on the map. Everybody likes their bows. They're going for the most part, but I don't think I was right. I think it was a major switch. Elite makes a great bow, but I think that hurt when he left. And then I think PSE's about to have some great years because Dudley went to them. Not that they hadn't had great years before. I'm just saying I think that's going to bring a lot of people to PSE that was previously not with PSE.
Yeah.
And then
well, was it ever confirmed that he went to Spot Hog?
I forgot to look. I seen somebody say he did, and I forgot to look.
I did.
I'm going to dig while we're talking here just to see if I find anything.
But, yeah, I'd be interested in that, too. I mean, I hadn't watched none of the hunting shows on TV, and I couldn't tell you when. I was watching Pigman there for a little bit, so Pigman's another one. He's with PSE now.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, you got, I don't know if they changed their name, but Leah and Tiffany Lukoski on the Crush. I don't know if it's still called the Crush or not. Trying to think of ones that I see pop up on Facebook a good bit.
I was just digging here.
I don't know. But, yeah, I'd be interested to see how many people are persuaded by bows by what they see on TV or in a magazine on the advertisement.
I feel like one thing that we have seen is used to red, as far as string orders go for us, red and black was it. I mean, it was red and black, red and black, red and black. And I do feel like when John Dudley started coming around, I was always a flow green man because green's my favorite color. And all the way back into the long time ago, that's the color I would run. But it's all of a sudden, when Dudley kind of became popular with the knock-on stuff, I feel like we started doing a lot of more solid green and black stuff. And now that's our most popular color the past probably 2 years at least is flow green and black.
Yeah, also it started kicking up about the time that Michael Waddell and all them started Bone Collector.
That's true too, so it could be a couple of different things. I forgot about that.
Well, actually, it might have started when he did Real Tree Road Trips. So about that time frame, right before he went out with Bone Collectors. And I think they still did Real Tree Road Trips for a couple of years after that. I don't know if Real Tree Road Trips is out there or not. But
okay, so here is John Dudley. I couldn't find anything by Googling it, but one day ago, here he is with one of his bows with a Spot Hog sight on it.
Okay.
So, I mean, I don't know if you'd say that's a definite confirm, but that is 100%. I mean, we'll keep looking.
Probably a Fast Eddie XL or a Hogfather.
Here's another one with his bow with a... Yeah. Yeah, he tagged Spot Hog in it with a Fast Eddie XL, so I would say he is definitely...
a Spot Hog man.
Yeah, that's him. So I guess he's with Spot Hog. That's a good thing. Spot Hog was already a big... I mean, as far as a single pin, that's what everybody wants. You know, the Fast Eddie or Fast Eddie XL for the most part. Now that he's with them, what I had read before, and I can't find it now, was that it was rumored he was working with them to come up with like a Dudley sight or whatever, a knock-on sight. So that'll be cool. That'll be cool, and that'll do good things for them.
Oh, yeah.
I know him working with Carter and coming out with his version of the releases has been neat to see. And they're expensive, but they're good releases. Carter's always been a good, solid release.
His is what, the Knock to It and the Silverback.
I've messed with one of them somewhere. I hadn't ever had one and shot it with my personal bow, and then he's got his own stabilizers out. I can't remember what they're called. I don't know who's making them or if he's making them or what, but I seen when I was on YouTube the other day, it popped up. He was doing a bow build or something, so I just clicked on it for about 10 minutes, and he had those stabilizers and all his usual stuff. But I think he's a good one for the sport of archery because he explains stuff good. He talks too slow for me. I want to be like, just say it. Just say what you're going to say. But he's a well-rounded, he's done it all type of guy. So there's really nobody in archery as far as like a big name that I hate. You know what I mean? Like I can't think of anybody that I'm like, I just can't stand them.
Yeah.
But
we did get some good news for local people, I reckon. But here in about 3 weeks, we might actually get to go shoot an archery tournament.
It's going to be wild.
So, Grundan69 asked, can you talk about judging distance on 3D targets?
We can. As far as the procedure.
Don't be giving away none of our secrets. Man.
Yeah. We carry a rangefinder. As far as secrets go, in my days of mainly judging, I would always walk up, just get my first gut feeling at that target. All right, it's 42 yards. And usually if I'd just go with that, I'd be pretty close. But then according to like the ground and all that, I'd do my little swaying back and forth. And if I do that, I can find pretty much the middle point to the target. And then I'll say, all right, well, that's definitely 20 yards. So then should I say that it's 40 instead of 41? And then sort of my third thing is I'll look beside the target. If there's like a tree or something beside the target, I'll look at it. Because sometimes the target size, or if it's light or dark going to the target or vice versa, it can mess with you. And I always kind of keep that in the back of my head. But I'll look at a tree or something beside it and say, all right, I can confirm that definitely looks 40 yards, And then I also, if I'm judging yardage, I'm going to go outside and I'm going to do all kind of different tests of like, if I say it's 40, and I'm going to do extreme tests for the most part. If I think it's 40 and it's actually 35, in other words, how much play have I got on the 10 ring? How much can I be off? You know what I mean? And what I used to do was keep a notebook. I'd just go out through the woods and look at different trees and judge. And used to, I would always judge 2 yards too far. So I would even, if we had a range set up out here, before we would go shoot an unknown shoot, I'd run through it real quick with just a rangefinder and stand in different spots and guess. And it almost always, for me, seemed I would guess 2 yards too far. So when I'd get to the shoot, I just knew, guess it, take 2 yards off, and it worked for me most of the time. But it definitely helps to get out there and judge some stuff. And then, I know Tab was bad several times. They got that field, and they would put targets in the field, but you'd be shooting from the woods. So you'd be in a real dark area into a real bright area, and it would mess with you big time. And then also Tab and Kiwi, where we shoot, they got some hills and stuff, and, you may be shooting up or downhill, and Tab, they got that one big section with like a big gully, so you can't even see the ground to the target. So it's pretty much a look at it and guess type of a situation. But that's pretty much it for me. My biggest trouble was between a little over, according to, like if I was shooting a 50-yard type of class, I could judge pretty good out to about 40. But you get a little bit past 40 out to 50, and I'm like really, like that 45, 6, 7 yard mark, I was like, man. And then I could always tell if they put it maxed out at 50. I'd be like, no doubt, that's all the way out there. That's 50. But if it was like that mid-40 range, I'd be like, man, this is tearing my nerves up. But that's pretty much all I got for it.
My biggest thing is go with your first number.
Yeah.
I mean, we shot the team shoot at the R100 that second year, and it was a 10-target shoot.
It was one of my favorite things we've done because it was did you count both of our scores? Yeah, I think
you counted both scores.
I'd step up and be like, we'd talk about it. We think this is 45, and I'd be like, listen, I'm gonna dial her to 45 and shoot center 10. So I'd make that shot, and then I could tell, if we were dead on, I'd be like, all right, TJ, you shoot for the 12.
Yeah.
Or if I knew I was a yard or two all hot or whatever, I could be like, change it to 47 and drill it.
But with that, me and you shot together for so long that we kind of know each other's equipment on what to do, and but go with your first gut instinct on your number. They had that. What was it? That buffalo.
It was out there.
That was the first target, and that joker was 50 yards on the nose.
Yeah.
Well, what they forgot to tell us was it wasn't center 12s. It was all lower 12s on them.
And the rest of the shoot was center 12s.
So, I led off that target, and I said, well, I'm pretty positive that's 50 yards. I said, so I'm going to aim center 12, and I released the air, and Jeremy's looking through the binos. He's like, man, we high-fiving. You drilled that 12. We got up there, and it's a perfect center 10. And I'm like, oh, crap.
Yep.
So, so yeah, just your first number is always the best number.
Yeah, because I'd always get into trouble with guessing yardage. I'd do all my little techniques, dial her in, pull it back, and then I'd start. When I get to full draw, I'm like, man, this thing's leaning back a little bit, I think, or I might. What if I'm 2 yards? And then I'd be like, well, I'm gonna aim top of this or bottom of that, and it'd always get me in trouble. But that's it. And then if you really get into like the pro level, they all say you need the exact, like ASA for example, they all have the exact range at their house, so they know the size of the target, what it looks like in light and dark and woods and field. They really spend some time working on it. But I miss judging yardage. But around here, there's not enough. Nobody wants to shoot unknown. So we had one little club pop up a few years ago, and it was all unknown. And I was like, this is neat to shoot on the side, kind of, and go somewhere where it's still unknown. But it didn't last long. But
no. The biggest thing is too is just get out in the yard, take your rangefinder, or get in the woods, and just pick a spot and guess, and then hit it with a rangefinder.
Yep.
I mean, that's
like I say. I had a little notebook. I'd do that. 50 times every other day or whatever, and I each day I'd be like, all right, I'm consistently off 2 yards, or I'm consistently off 1 yard or 3 yards or whatever, and then I'd just use that to my advantage when we went and shot. Yeah. But heck yeah, the old known versus unknown debate. I know some people want to fight about it, but we don't.
No.
We had that one shoot, and everybody wanted, or not everybody, one guy mainly wanted to shoot, let's do an unknown shoot. And we tried it, and I advertised it, and like 1 or 2 people showed up. We were like, nope.
Yeah.
Not today. We figured out on the live feed, if y'all were watching, about the super chat. We had people emailing in. We greatly appreciate y'all, and y'all were saying, how can we support you? And, of course, we've always had the Archeryshackstrings.com if you need a bowstring, but we figured out on a live feed, there's a super chat button at the bottom near the chat, and you can send in $1 or $2, and we got our very first super chats of our lives.
Yeah, we did.
It was neat. Thank y'all that sent in a couple bucks to support us.
I believe it was Muddy Ducks ATV was the first one.
I was like, holy smoke, somebody sent in some money. But that's pretty fancy. And like I'd said on the live chat, I think you can only do it on the live chat, but we'll use that money to sort of, first of all, help buy stuff like our purple lights. Muddy Ducks help buy us a purple light and get this thing a little more fancy, and also down the road maybe help us do some like tests with broadheads and stuff when we have to buy that type of thing. So for our videos, so we appreciate that. I was going to say something else. I was going to say, and hopefully on the online store coming up, maybe in the next month or so, we'll get some T-shirts and hats and all that, and that'll help us out too. So, some shoelaces. And I don't know about that, but
TJ,
we could go buy some dollar shoelaces, and you could just write on there Archeryshack.
They might not be able to read my handwriting.
Let's talk about measuring a bowstring. A lot of people have questions about how they're measured. So, without taking you back there, we've talked about the process before. They're laid out, they're put under tension, they're stretched before they're twisted, they're stretched while they're twisted, after they're twisted, while the servant's being put on, and after the servant's being put on. And then they relax for a little bit, and then we've got a machine that puts 100 pounds on them with a pneumatic cylinder, and you measure inside of loop, 1/4-inch pin to inside of loop, and then we put a tie strap through them, zip tie, whatever you want to call it, and then they're perfect according to the manufacturer. But I've had some questions lately about what if I need to put a twist or two in it. That's fine. A couple twists is normal, but for instance, Hoyt bus cables, by their tune chart or their spec sheet, always seem to be about a 1/16 too long. And I notice when I put on a lot of Hoyt cables, even though we have measured to the exact 1,000th, I'll have to put about 2 twists in them. That's just normal. I know that's going to happen. Matthews, a lot of their cables, by their tune chart, is a smidgen long, and I have to put a couple twists in. But everybody's a little persnickety on how they're doing their stuff. But according to the AMO standard, it's a 1/4-inch pin on 100 pounds, and that's how we measure them. Somebody had asked me that the other day, and I said, let me clarify. I think what had came up was somebody got a set, and he's like, I'm running the tape measure down it, and it
was coming up
like a 1/4-inch short. And I was like, well, it definitely should be that way because it hadn't got that 100 pounds on it, you know.
Yeah.
And I mean, you take, say, a solo cam, a single cam string, let's say 100 inches, and it's just sitting there, and then you put just 100 pounds on it. Now, we put 400 pounds when we stretch them to try to get all that mess out of them, but when we measure them, we put 100. I mean, you're looking at roundabout, you know, a 3/8 of an inch, 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch difference in 100 pounds on it, and it just sitting there. So I just thought I would mention that because somebody was asking. But anyway, had a crossbow come in today, had a recurve come in today. Actually, let me talk about the recurve. Guy come in and said he had bought it off the internet or whatever, and he didn't know why his bow, it's a couple different things he said, but he didn't know why his bow had got louder, and it started hitting him on the wrist. And what had happened was he left it strung, and so the string stretched. You know, it's a factory. I mean, honestly, it don't matter who makes it. A recurve string is usually made out of, especially on a cheaper one, is made out of B55 or B50, and it's a Dacron. I know that don't mean anything to you, but it's a stretchy material, and it's meant to be that way to protect the limb tips and all this stuff we don't need to get into. But he had left it strung, it had stretched out, so we unstrung it. I put about 10 twists in it. Perfect. So if you play with a recurve any, you know, you can play with that brace height. And I was telling him, you know, the longer the brace height, typically the quieter it'll be. And you can play with string silencers and all that. The shorter, the faster, but it also, you're going to get into that. If you get it too short, it's going to start hitting that hand or that wrist. So
yeah,
the recurves,
which we've seen a big kind of jump in interest on recurves in the last year.
I need to do better about keeping, we don't have much of any, well, we got one little section of traditional stuff, but I need to do better about keeping traditional stuff in here because, yeah, there's more interest than you would think in the recurve community. And then we had the guy come in, they didn't know what they wanted to shoot.
Oh, yeah, that one was a little bit of one to... She had a recurve, and she wanted, and it, you know, it was drilled and tapped for sights, and you know, a plunger rest or plunger rest or anything, and she kept saying that she wanted to put a sight and, you know, all this on there, and I'm like, so I got to ask, I was like, are you just starting out, or, you know, or are you wanting to stick with the recurve but go towards the Olympic style? And she's like, well, and so I brought up a picture and showed her, and she's like, yeah, that's what I want. And, you know, she's like, I want the whole 9 yards, the sight, the V-bars, long stabilizer. And she picked up one of our Trophy Ridge front and back bar, and I told her, I said, that will work, but it's not what you need if you're wanting to go down that road of Olympic recurve.
And I think what I was back there making a string just listening, I think what she didn't understand was even with a nice Olympic recurve, you're going to have $2,000 in it. You know what I mean? By the time you buy slide bars and V bars and arrows, and you know, you gonna have a chunk in it still.
Yeah. And then, you know, we got into, I'm like, well, do you plan on sticking with recurve, or you want to go to the compound side, or what? And I really think that she she was a newbie. She'd been shooting for maybe a month or two, but she really didn't know which way she wanted to go because none of the shops that she visited had a compound that would go down far enough on the draw weight, which, you know, we don't either. I sold the last one the day before.
Yeah, I thought, and because of the COVID, we can't get none for another couple of weeks, which sucks. But it is what it is.
So, but they were nice people and everything, but I don't think that they really realized how much it was going to cost to get into that side of it.
Yeah, I think people just think recurve $150.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the truth. If you buy the cheapest, you know, if you get like a Samick Sage with cheap stuff, and that's fine if you're playing in the yard, or you could kill a deer with it, but she's wanting to go Olympic with a $150 setup. It ain't going to happen.
I think she had a Galaxy. So, in which, we could have put a sight. We could have put just a little old short or a little bit longer stabilizer on the front of it. But for what she was wanting to do, or how she had it in her mind she wanted to do, I just wasn't. You know, this is where I could have been a salesman and just sold them all this stuff. But I'm like, no, you need to step back and think before you start putting this kind of money into this. I said, because this is not what you need if you're wanting to go that route.
Yeah.
So, that was when it was pouring down rain the other day.
I feel like my stomach's about to growl.
Uh-oh.
Maybe not. About time for something. But, what else crazy's happened? We hadn't had any good bow explosions lately.
No, we hadn't had any more crossbows come in, cocked and busted limbs. And
I did this video hadn't come out. I don't know when it'll come out, but I had messed with a left-handed bow on like 72 pounds the other week, and I hurt my dang shoulder shooting that thing. And it wasn't bad, but the night that I had worked on it, like I woke up in pretty bad shoulder pain, and I was like, ooh. So yesterday, me and TJ decided it might be best if we go play some golf.
I guess.
We both know we ain't worth a shit, but about the second time I hit, that shoulder started hurting again. Luckily today it's fine. I'm not even really like what you'd say sore. I thought I would be hurting today, but we're definitely not golfers.
I think as long as I could hit off the women's tee and hit a 9-iron, I think I'd be okay. But as far as a driver, I suck with a driver. Everybody tells me how to fix it, and I do it, and it still don't work.
I've always been like, I can get them to go out there, but I can't exactly tell you where they're going to go.
I know which way mine's going to go. It might start out straight for a little bit, and then all of a sudden it's going to rocket to the right.
TJ hit an elderly lady on her swing behind her house. We're sorry, Kimberly. We did not mean to take out your leg.
And supposedly that was one of them self-correcting balls.
So Scott went with us. This is probably my favorite part of the trip. He said, I bought these off Amazon. They are guaranteed to go straight. He handed me one, and I hit it, and it went pretty straight or whatever.
He threw it to me first, but, you know, I'm sitting here thinking, okay, I don't really know if this is going to be one of them when you hit it explodes or what happens. So I said, here, Jeremy, you hit it first.
It zoomed. TJ, and I'm thinking, and it was just luck, you know what I mean? Because I don't know where they're going to go. It was just luck that I hit it good. TJ hits that sucker, and it goes straight for about 100 yards, and then that thing said, it was like a meteor coming out of space. And I told him, I said, I hadn't played over in a couple of years, but I said, there's a house over there. And so we go barreling down through there, and there is the lady on her back porch, nothing over her head, swinging, looking at us like, you sons of bitch. And I was like, TJ's like, let's just roll on out, son. Roll on out.
I'll take a drop.
So, anyway, we're probably not, what you'd say, golfers, but at least it was something to do.
It was fun. I'll go do it again.
Oh, yeah. We need to go to the driving range.
Yeah, we need to go.
I'm more of a putt-putt man.
Me too.
If we'd have had a windmill to shoot through or something, I'd have probably excelled. But anyway, we tried golf. We went about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And had about the same luck.
Yeah. But I do think that back then I might have hit the ball a little bit straighter with a driver. But now, I don't know.
It's something. Anyway, we can't go shoot an archery tournament, so he's like, well, Scott was the one who kept saying, let's go play golf. But We did.
Now, my little brother he is hooked on this golf stuff, and I mean, he's actually gotten really good. So hopefully, it probably won't be this evening, but hopefully tomorrow evening, I'm gonna get out there with him and say, "All right, watch how I do this," and get some coaching going.
I feel like if I got serious about it, I'd be pissed because if I really, really wanted it to go where I wanted it to go, and I knew I wouldn't, I don't know, I'd be ill about it.
Well, golf and archery is kind of the same thing.
Maybe I need to watch some instructional video. Next week will be archery or golf shack shop talk.
We definitely ain't quitting our day jobs to go play golf. That's for sure.
Might be good. Anyway, we'll keep y'all posted on that.
Yep.
But
maybe we'll ought to try cornhole next.
That's probably a good idea. Maybe like TV watchings or something, sport. Yeah. Man.
Be like a buddy squirrel.
We got a guy that comes out here. I don't think he's listening, but if you are, we call him Squirrel.
What's up?
And this joker about a year and a half ago decided to take up cornhole pretty competitively, and that joker's done been... wasn't long, his wife had posted, "Hey, we in somewhere, Columbia, South Carolina," and they were on TV, so we bring him up on ESPN 8 or whatever we watching, and there's Squirrel slinging them bags, and I was like, good Lord. So he's got good at it, but he's practiced a lot. He's won a good bit of money at it. So I told one Saturday we were slow last year in the summer, and I was like, TJ, somewhere out yonder in the barn, I have got an old junk plastic set of cornhole boards. I'm getting them out. Now, to our whatever, these were they're not regulation size. Yeah. They're about half the size of what they need to be. But we put them things out there and could not hit nothing.
Yeah.
But they're plastic and they're wobbly. Like we'd hit them and it'd bounce and it'd go boom like a trampoline and throw them off. But I need to get a regulation board. I don't need to get nothing. We don't need to be golfing. We don't need to be cornholing. We need to stick to what we know. But anyway.
Well, we got to broaden our horizons.
Squirrel has made some money on the cornhole. Locally, he's really great.
Yeah.
And then like on the national stuff, I think he's about mid-pack, but the joker ain't playing.
No.
I tried to get him to come on a podcast one time. He's like, oh, no.
Yeah.
So people freak out about doing this for whatever reason.
I don't know. Everybody freaks out about being on camera, or especially when we shoot.
We want to start on this podcast having 2 or 3 people that we call in, just a little quick 3 to 5 minute chat. Would y'all be interested in that? If so, I mean, we're not going to call you next week, but if you think it would be neat, put it in the comments. I'd be curious to know, like, what if we had 2 or 3 people and we just text them the day before and be like, hey, we might talk about crossbows, You want us to chat with you? Yeah, okay. So then we'd somehow plug it into this soundboard thing and call them up and chat for a few minutes. And it wouldn't be just one guy for 45 minutes. We could BS and call them, call somebody else.
Yeah.
Call in a pizza, whatever. But let us know what you think about that idea. We're just trying to change it up, keep it interesting, and see how that goes. We do have I'm just looking up here. In the shop, if you've been in here, there's a neon PSE sign that they gave me a couple of years ago, and Bear is sending us some kind of fancy light up sign. Hopefully it'll come in. I can't wait to see what it looks like. We need more neon. Get it smoky in here. Get some Joe Diffie playing. Rest in peace, Joe. And
then we're going to hit the little switch on the remote and get them to strobing.
Mm-hmm. I'm excited about these lights. They were $5 a piece, and they came with a dang remote, and it's got like 12 different colors. You can change them, so we might have a different color every week. Y'all can guess the color. I guess we run out of stuff to talk about.
I think we did. We
didn't talk about golf. Anyway, thank y'all for watching. Again, our usual schedule. If you're new, hit the subscribe button. Our usual schedule is Sunday. Usually it's either a tune-in video, a product review, or us going to shoot type of video. Comes out at 9 o'clock Sunday evening. Tuesday, our podcast comes out early, Tuesday morning at 6. And then Thursday evening at 6:30. We go live on YouTube for we started at 20 and 30 minutes. Lately, we've been going about an hour. But it's cool because it's interactive and people get in there and thank y'all and ask questions and talk about whatever y'all want to talk about. So hop on there. Like I say, we'll have some information about T-shirts and stuff coming up.
Yep.
And so that's our schedule. Hit the subscribe button. We got bunch of videos out about different bows, tuning them and this, that, and other. But we'll get off here and leave y'all be, and we'll see you next time.
Have a good one.
See y'all.